everybody. So I've been wanting to film a video for a little while now, just kind of talking about my experience with pregnancy so far. I had planned on doing like a first trimester recap and then a second trimester recap, but kind of just had a lot of other stuff going on and videos that I wanted to make first. So I'm halfway through my pregnancy now, so I'm a little past the first trimester, but I figured I would go ahead. I've been getting a ton of questions from people, and I feel like every pregnancy is really unique, so I thought it would be fun to kind of share my experience so far, and I'll probably do a couple more of these before the baby comes. So if you're interested in learning about my personal pregnancy experience, then feel free to keep watching. If you're not interested in pregnancy, and pretty much if you're not a woman, then this might not be very interesting for you. Also, I would just like to apologize for, I'm using a new kind of sound setup. My camera was giving me a lot of static, so I'm using my studio microphone that I use for music, and it might be a little bit too clear because my dogs both have smushed faces, so they breathe pretty loud. And also my other dog needs his nails cut, so his nails tick on the floor if he starts walking around. But just bear with me on that. Oh, you wanna say hi? Hello. Okay, so I did a little question thingy on Instagram to see if anyone had any questions, and then I also just kind of wrote down a couple questions that I get on a freaking daily basis. But the main question that I get all the time is if I'm sick, and I still get it now, even though I think that a lot of people, I don't know, I guess maybe some women are sick their whole pregnancy, but from what I've read, most women are only sick in the first trimester. Are you sleeping? So I mean, I would pretty much be past that point anyway, but I actually was incredibly blessed. I never really got sick. I have had a lot of friends and heard of a lot of women that get so horribly sick during their first trimester especially, and I work in 2 restaurants, and I work with burgers, and I'm a bartender, so I work with a lot of alcohol, and I was so terrified. So I was like, how am I going to work? And no one knew I was pregnant at that point, so I didn't really know how I was going to get around it. Wouldn't really be able to serve food if I was throwing up all the time. But once I found out at 5 weeks, I guess usually it kicks in around 6 to 8 weeks, and I just kind of was waiting and waiting, and it never came. I definitely noticed a really, really severe decrease in energy. It didn't matter how much I slept. I could sleep from 8 at night till 10 the next morning, and I would still be freaking exhausted. I'm just taking naps all the time. I cut out caffeine completely for my whole first trimester, so I'm a big coffee drinker, and that definitely made it a little bit harder. But one thing that I can definitely recommend for moms that are struggling with that is this energy booster from Premama. I found them actually right after I got pregnant. I had seen a friend of mine uses their lactation support tea, and so I went on their site and I kind of read some reviews on it and stuff. And that stuff actually, I'm not even kidding, helped so much. I work a lot of nighttime shifts, not as much anymore, but I was working a lot of closing shifts. Sleeping? I was working some 3 a.m. shifts, 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. bar shifts, and I was just so tired, and I used a lot of essential oils and tried to drink vitamin drinks and all this stuff. Literally nothing was helping, and I was just desperate. So I ended up trying that stuff, and it actually helped a lot. It wasn't I was drinking, espresso or anything, but I definitely just felt more myself and not I was just constantly falling asleep. So I can definitely recommend that for moms who are struggling with energy. From the first, probably right at 12 weeks, my energy levels shot up. I got a lot better. By 14 weeks, from 14 to 18 weeks, I felt amazing. I was waking up at 6:30 every morning, getting up. I don't even get up or usually get up at 8:30 when I wasn't pregnant, but I, for some reason, just had way more energy than I even normally would. So I was getting up and just cleaning. I've already kind of started nesting, which is weird because if you know me, I'm honestly not a clean freak. I'm not even really that clean of a person in general. My car's usually a mess. My house is a mess. wish that I was the type of person that just loved cleaning, but I'm usually not, and that has definitely changed since I've been pregnant. From about from around 14 weeks to 18 weeks, I felt super, super good. I was like feeling a lot better. The only thing that has really kind of stuck is a lot of food aversion. So my first trimester, I didn't feel too sick except for there's a couple rough days, but it was hard to find foods that sounded good. So like meat, I didn't eat, I don't think like any meat my first trimester. I would try to eat something with meat in it and it would just like make me gag. Around like 18 weeks, I think like 2 weeks ago, my energy definitely started going down again. So I'm kind of nervous to see where it goes from here because my stomach is growing so fast. I feel like my belly is already bigger than a lot of women that I know that are as far along as me, and that kind of leads me into my next question. I've had a few people ask me if I've gained a lot of weight. You okay? He's helping me practice. And then, so, I mean, it's not like I was eating super healthy. I've been trying to keep a lot of protein shakes, just to keep my protein levels up. But luckily I haven't gained too much, so I don't know why my stomach's getting so big already, but I guess everybody is different. Okay, next question. If I had any weird cravings? Not really, like I said, just kind of the food aversion. I guess a lot of women crave weird stuff like dirt and stuff like that. That hasn't happened to me yet, but I guess maybe later on it might. I'll keep you guys posted, but I'm like a massive sweet tooth normally, and that's kind of just the way that I've been. I love sweets and bread, and that was just kind of emphasized, and that was all that sounded good for a while. A lot of people asked if I'm still working and how long I plan on working. So in a perfect world, I would love to not have to work because the nesting has been so real. I honestly could just like sit here and clean all day and would love to just get stuff ready for the baby, but I can't do that. Sorry, camera died. We'll see how long it works now. I charged it for a little bit, but let's see, where were we? So, cravings, am I still working? Okay, so in a perfect world, I would love to not have to work, but I'm only 23, my husband's young, so I'm kind of figuring things out right now. I'm not really planning on bartending after I have the baby, but so 6 weeks before my due date, I would be stopping working around mid-December, but I think that I'm actually going to stop around Thanksgiving. It just seems like a good time. I honestly have a really bad back. I've always had a lot of issues with my back since high school. I've had sciatica since I was 16, which apparently gets really bad when you're pregnant, even if you aren't someone that has it prior to your pregnancy. So I'm super nervous about that. So I'm kind of just trying to prepare and work as much as I can right now. But yeah, so afterwards I'm actually hoping to be working as a real estate agent. That's going to be kind of like my career goal that I'm going to try to do as a mom. People ask a lot if we were hoping for a boy or girl. So we were definitely both hoping for a boy. I hate to say it, but I am very glad that it's a boy. I definitely would have still been happy if it was a girl, of course, but my husband Chase really, really wanted a boy. He sorry, my cat is chasing my dog now. He's always dreamed of like, you know, having a little boy to coach and do all that stuff with. So even though we plan on having another kid eventually, we were both just kind of hoping, and I've heard that boys are a little easier, so I was hoping that we would get a boy first. A lot of people ask if we have picked a name. So we did have a name that we really liked way before I ever even got pregnant. Hey! I'm not really planning on sharing it just because it is unique. I know a girl that I went to high school with, this girl Allie, she chose a pretty unique name for her daughter, and I remember seeing her share something about choosing to not share the name just because she was so worried that even though she loved the name so much, she was worried that people wouldn't like it and it would make her sway from her decision and make her not like it as much. And her daughter's name is super adorable, so but I can see why she would be afraid of that, because people name shame so bad. Like if I try to say, I did tell a couple people the name at the beginning, and some people liked it and other people were like, oh, like that's a weird name, and it kind of started to make me second guess it. And I'm not dead set on it. I'm definitely still considering other names. It's just the only one that I've liked still so far. But yeah, so just some people know about it. I'm not keeping it super secret, but it's not something that I'm going to be like announcing. Biggest differences from pre-pregnancy to now. Obviously it's a big adjustment. Like, I work in a bar, so not being able to drink at all is definitely different. My appetite's been a lot different. My nightly ritual has like changed. I'm super terrified of getting stretch marks. I got my first stretch marks when I was like 15 or 16, when I was really tiny in high school. So I've always kind of had a fear that when I got to this point in my life that I probably don't have the most like elastin, I think is what it's called, yeah, in my skin. So I'm really nervous about stretch marks. I obviously don't have any yet, but my stomach has like just recently started getting like noticeably bigger. So if anyone has any recommendations, I would love them. I bought this guy from Trader Joe's. It's not actually for stretch marks, but I've read that like almond oil and jojoba oil are really good. And then I added a bunch of my own essential oils in there. And then I also bought this stuff from Motherhood that I guess is supposed to be super good. I like both of them. This one doesn't feel as moisturizing, so I kind of use both. I'm like doubling up because I'm so scared. Which brings me back to one of the tips I was going to say for my first trimester. Honestly, a part of not getting nauseous too bad to the point of sickness, I definitely prepared. I'm a big essential oil user, but I used both of these guys. Those are the main ones that I used because the ones for energy and all that didn't really help. But these two definitely did help on the days where it was bad. Okay, I've had a few girls ask me which prenatal vitamins I use. So I do have the Premama vitamins, but they sent me the gummies, which I'm not really like a super big gummy vitamin person in general, but they are coming out with like a regular, hey, stop. Dog is getting into stuff. Enzo, get over here. I believe that they're coming out with like a regular, just kind of like pill vitamin soon. So I'm really excited for that because I like I said, really love their energy booster. But so far, so like the day I found out that I was pregnant, I went over to Trader Joe's. I was going grocery shopping anyway, but I found these. I want to say it's like $12 and it has 60, so it's for 2 months. You only have to take one a day. They're kind of big. Here, if anyone's interested, I'll show you how big they are. They're a little bit big. If you're like okay with taking pills, like I'm fine with taking pills, so they don't bother me, but I know a lot of people are like, they struggle with that. But those are great. I used to take them always first thing in the morning, and they didn't make me nauseous at all. They've been super good so far. Never made me sick. My hair's been growing, which I don't know if that's because of the vitamins or what, but yeah, so I really like those, and they're nothing fancy. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on them or anything. And they have all the vitamins that are necessary. But my camera is getting ready to die again, so I should probably cut this off. I think that was pretty much all the questions that I had anyway. I'm planning on doing another video that's more kind of geared towards like tips, get some brainstorming on like other things that I could talk about. But yeah, I'm so thankful for all the people that are kind of following along on this journey. I really like recording these videos just because I think it'll be really fun in like a couple years to look back on, but it's really cool that I get to share it with all of you guys as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.